Picture this: Sicily, 1943. A young rifleman lies crumpled against shattered stone, shrapnel embedded deep in his leg. The pain is blinding, shock creeping through his body like winter frost. His medic drops beside him, mud splashing, and reaches not for a glass vial or surgical kit, but for something that fits in the palm of his hand, a spring-loaded tube no bigger than a toothpaste container. Within seconds, morphine flows into the soldier's system, pulling him back from the edge. That small metal cylinder, the Syrette, became the difference between life and death for countless men across every theatre of World War II. This is the story of battlefield medicine's quiet revolution, and the lessons it still holds for anyone who values preparedness when everything goes wrong. The Syrette emerged from necessity. Before World War II, administering morphine under fire required fragile glass ampoules, sterile needles, and steady hands, luxuries that didn't exist when artillery shells turned the earth into chaos. The Squibb pharmaceutical company designed something beautifully simple, a collapsible metal tube with an attached needle, protected by a wire loop. Inside, a pre-measured dose of morphine tartrate waited, stable in extreme heat and cold, ready to deploy with a simple squeeze. Combat medics carried a dozen or more clipped to their uniforms, each one a promise of relief they could deliver, while bullets snapped overhead. The design was so effective it remained virtually unchanged through Korea and Vietnam, a testament to engineering that understood war's brutal realities. When a soldier went down, time compressed into heartbeats. Medics learned to work with surgical precision amid pandemonium, their movements practiced until they became muscle memory. They'd rip open the soldier's uniform, locate a muscular injection site, typically the thigh or upper arm, and puncture the sealed tube by bending the attached needle through its protective coating. The spring mechanism inside meant one firm squeeze delivered the dose. Then came the crucial step that saved lives in a different way. The medic would pin the empty Syrette to the casualty's collar or forehead, creating an unmistakable signal. This simple act prevented deadly morphine overdoses, as wounded men passed through multiple hands during evacuation. In the confusion of battlefield triage, where verbal communication often proved impossible, that dangling metal tube spoke louder than words. Morphine did more than mask agony. Severe wounds trigger traumatic shock, a cascade where the body's cardiovascular system begins shutting down, prioritizing vital organs while sacrificing everything else. Blood pressure plummets, breathing becomes shallow, and without intervention, death follows swiftly. Morphine's analgesic properties interrupted this spiral, calming the nervous system's panic response and buying precious time for evacuation and surgery. Combined with sulfur powder dusted directly into wounds to combat infection and plasma transfusions at aid stations, the Syrette formed part of a medical chain that saw survival rates climb dramatically compared to the previous war. Medics understood they weren't curing anything in those desperate moments. They were stabilizing, preserving, keeping their brothers alive long enough to reach surgeons miles behind the lines. The Syrette's legacy transcends military history. It teaches us that effective emergency medicine demands simplicity, durability, and foolproof design. Today's wilderness first aid kits and trauma supplies inherit this philosophy, pre-packaged, clearly labeled, designed for use when adrenaline narrows your thinking. Understanding how to manage shock, recognizing its signs, knowing that pain management serves a physiological purpose beyond comfort. These principles apply whether you're deep in backcountry or facing disaster. The medics who carried those Syrettes understood something fundamental: preparation meets crisis at the intersection of knowledge and the right tools, available instantly. If this glimpse into wartime ingenuity resonates with you, subscribe to Fieldcraft Chronicles. Share this with fellow history enthusiasts and anyone who believes self-reliance isn't optional. The past teaches, but only if we listen.